All right, welcome back to the podcast, guys. MCU fans assemble, episode 8, week 8 of WandaVision. Actually, week 7, episode 8 of WandaVision, because we did have the first two episodes released on the same day. I'm Thomas. You can find me on Twitter at tstimon13 if you wish to discuss this or anything else Marvel related. I'm joined by Chris.
Hello. Yes, you can also catch me on Twitter at bag. That's double G 1982.
And also Zach.
I'm Zach Krieger, and funny thing is, I tried to create a Twitter account. Apparently, I did years ago on the same email, so I have to create a different email to make another account. So, because there's no way I'm going to remember a password from 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
So we'll get there, but for now, you can find you on the Facebook group, right?
Facebook, or just go to the MCU fan assemble group.
Yep, sweet. So, guys, like all of our other episodes so far, we will be discussing the latest WandaVision episode. There will be massive spoilers ahead, again, not only for this episode, but the entirety of the show. If you haven't seen it, please now go back and watch it.
And possible spoilers for future movie films.
That as well.
Possible spoilers.
Depending on how right we are. Which,
Right.
hey, like, our track record's not bad so far.
Right? We got a few things right in the last few weeks.
Yep. Agatha's the only one that we got spot on, I think, right?
Yeah, and we mentioned something that correlates to the recent episode.
Ah, yes. We can get into that, though. But
Yeah.
for now, let's take it to the start of the episode, and which I don't know if anyone else noticed this. As Marvel Studios logo faded away, it goes to purple, the color of Agatha Harkness. And instead of cutting to Westview, where we have started every single episode so far, Westview or Sword, we start in Salem, Massachusetts in 1693.
Yep. Which is the actual year with the whole Salem witch trial.
And it is almost exactly in line with what happens with Agatha in the comics. With quite a little change, though.
Is because I counted 7 plus her mother.
Mhm.
So is that a reference again? Not being into the comics. Is that a reference to the Salem 7? Are they the Salem 7 or not?
I don't think they're the Salem 7 because the Salem 7 are her, like, they're Nicholas Scratch's children. So technically her grandchildren. Um, what I found really interesting was the fact that it was witches at all. Because in the comics, Agatha's burned at the stake by people. She doesn't do something to betray her coven. And I don't know, it just got me thinking, what do you guys think she did to betray her coven for them to cast her out and essentially try to kill her?
I mean, I found that quite an interesting scene because it starts off with we don't find out immediately that it's her mother who's sort of taking charge or at the head of that coven at that point straight away anyway. As you find out pretty quickly, but it seems that she's been, I think, dabbling in sort of dark magic when she shouldn't be, and I think it, to me, seemed fairly obvious that she had pretty much planned all that because she seems all innocent, but she has this little quirky smirk, like a little. I noticed just a little sort of side of her mouth sort of quirks up every now and then when she's sort of like going, and she's trying to pretend that she hasn't done anything bad, but then she has that little smirk, and then when I'm assuming that the order's given to kill her, that's when she just absorbs their power.
Yeah.
That's how it seems to me, which makes me think she just had that planned all along, and then to kill her mother as well, which
Yeah.
or absorb her power as well. What I did find interesting though when I just watched it before we came on here. Um, just before she kills the mother. I don't know if she had a name actually. The mother. I don't think she does. She may have
She
a
might
name.
have. I don't think I wrote it down though.
Yeah, yeah. But she gets the sort of like a magical crown or
Yes.
tiara. I don't know. Now I don't know if that's reference to what we see later on. Don't know if it's worth. Do I need to talk about that? No, maybe not. I'll come back onto that. But yeah, she gets this magical tiara, which I don't know if that refers to what we see later on in the episode. I don't know what you guys thought about that.
Zach, do you wanna take a swing at this
Uh,
one?
I think she was just getting too power hungry and to kind of circle back around to Supernatural. Like the storyline there was this character Rowena was too power hungry, but like the coven, was higher up and you'd have to be like a certain ranked witch or like get like a okay to practice certain type of magic or whatever. Like, so I think that's where Agatha was, kind of dipping into what she wasn't able to do or allowed to do just yet. And obviously she wasn't going to give it up.
Yeah, I think that we've actually seen exactly what she was kind of dabbling with, and I do think it's the Darkhold, or whichever they're gonna say that book that she has is, but probably the Darkhold. I think it has something to do with that, just because they continuously are referencing like dark magic, like this is evil, and like this is a book that's really reminiscent of being something that is evil, at least in the comics, actually, and in almost every appearance it's had in the Marvel TV shows. Although those aren't connected,
Right.
it's a similar item they're using in this almost the same way.
Yeah,
I I I feel like you could make the argument that Chthon, the author of the Darkhold, could be kind of manipulating Agatha a bit. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think Agatha probably taught herself through the Darkhold, figured out this magic, and was like, I just want to be powerful. But I do think she has a reason for wanting this power, and I'll get to that later as well.
yeah. I think this is something which Marvel can always come back at a later stage and show something in a different light, which is exactly what they've done in this episode. So you're right. It could be that Agatha is, not necessarily being controlled, but someone could have put her up to this. But I think looking at what we've seen on this episode, I think it's probably a bit like what Zach said. She's power hungry. I think she even makes reference to learning her abilities. I think when she manipulates the fly into a bird or turns it into a bird, she talks about how she's took her ages to learn how to do that. So I think it is stuff that she's just learned herself. And yeah, she's probably just gone beyond. If she was in this coven where there was possibly restrictions that you're too young to learn that yet, and she's probably thought balls to that. I'm you know I'm power hungry and that's what I want. So
Yeah.
and she's learned how to absorb other witches' powers, energy, whatever way. But yeah, I think it's her just wanting to push herself. Yeah.
I have one more question for you guys, just before we move on to the next scene. But where do you guys think Agatha went after Salem for the next 300 some odd years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that.
No. Yeah. It's one of those where uh, do has she just been somewhere else for a bit? You look at you could you could argue with that with like Captain Marvel. She came about in the 90s. Where was Captain Marvel when all the shit was happening with the Avengers? Um, prior to um, her in Endgame. I think it just suits that she wasn't there, and this is her entrance. It would be nice to maybe get. I mean, we've got that little snippet of backstory about her in Salem, but will we see any more? We might do. I don't know. It would be nice to have a bit of a backstory to her
Oh yeah.
other than what we've just seen. But yeah, I don't know. Have you got a theory, Tom?
Not a huge one. Like, if anything, I just think she was spending the years trying to perfect the basic kind of magic she was telling Wanda about in the beginning, and just kind of trying to master the basic bit of witchcraft and everything she can access in the Darkhold. Because, like, Agatha is powerful, but like, I really don't think she's. Well, obviously she's nowhere close to Wanda, but I really don't think she's even that powerful compared to some of the other witches. At least from what I'm kind of seen so far. That could obviously change in a heartbeat, and they could just be like, "Oh no, she's actually like she's on another level." Right now,
Yeah, good.
yeah.
Either way, yeah.
Like it's odd. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know if they could either take it in a way of she's a student who tried this for a super long time and this is the best she can do, or that she mastered that, now she's trying to figure out the secrets of the Darkhold.
Yeah, I mean, my sort of theory on it, sort of just her arrival in Westview is, and this maybe plays into where she's been for however many hundreds of years or whatever. But I think it probably plays into what you said, Tom, about how she's just learning a trade, and I think she just seeks out witches or magical people to steal the magic from them. And I think that's why she's ended up at Westview. She's felt this magic at Westview, and she's gone there, and she's thought, right, I can, probably at first to maybe think, right, I can take this Wanda's magic, and then she's probably thought, ah, shit, I can't because she's just fucking too powerful.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting that she's been very confrontational at the end. I know I'm jumping ahead here, but I still think Wanda is way too powerful for her. So jumping to the end when she confronts her with Billy and Tommy. Again, it's just sort of like, what you doing? Surely Wanda's just going to kick your ass out.
Yeah.
But that's my view. Yeah, maybe Agatha is very, very powerful, but she purposely put Wanda into is it the hexed room? Can I call it the hexed room? Is that the best way? So Wanda couldn't use her powers.
Yeah, her I wanted to say dungeon. That's probably it. Not the best word.
Yeah.
Her bewitched basement. Yeah.
Bewitched. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bewitched.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes me think that if she hadn't have put her in that bewitched basement, she wouldn't have been able to control her. Like Wanda would have been able to overpower her. But I don't know. Might be wrong. I don't know.
I think you're completely on track with that, because even the way it also makes me think that Agatha thinks that Wanda actually has prior knowledge of just sorcery in general. The way she kind of discusses it with her, she's just like, "Oh, Wanda, you didn't notice all these runes in here? Like, that's like one of the first things you learn as a witch. Like, how did you not realize that? Only the person who casts them can use the spells." And it's like she's like re-explaining something to a kindergartner almost. And
Yeah.
I just found that like odd. It's just like I think Agatha came in with the full intention that Wanda was just. She probably seen her like with the Avengers, but yeah, she thought she was a witch and like she was in full control of her powers. When in reality, that's definitely not the case.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Although she must be, I think she must realise fairly quickly that a power is is quite immense, given that she sort of interrogates her and says, who are you?
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the fly, when she controls the fly and then she turns it into a bird, and then she basically goes, it's taken me ages to learn that, and you're just doing it on autopilot.
Yeah.
There's people miles away and you're controlling them, and so I sometimes got the impression that she was a little bit pissed off that she, Wanda had all this power, and she didn't, type of thing. Yeah, I had a lot of mixed feelings with Agatha this episode, sort of trying to figure out who she actually was in terms of, is she good, is she bad, is she the real big bad of the series? Which my opinion has shifted slightly on that now.
Same here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do like the touch. She does, which I've seen this being debated on a lot of forums. Wanda's accent, she goes back into Sokovian, and Agatha just goes. There's the Sokovian back. Is it here? Is it not? And I just thought that was just a direct nod to the viewers, or to all those people that get on the forums and go, oh, she's lost the Sokovian accent in this film, and oh, it's back here, and I think they're just playing with us.
Yeah. I think now
there
we
was
know it's
actually
going to stick around.
Oh yeah, but I think there was actually a reason she lost it in Civil War, because Natasha kind of took her under her wing to kind of train her to be an assassin. So I think she was like covering up her accent to change her disguise, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never really bothered me, but
Yeah, me neither, honestly. I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's kind of coming out more now because, again, she doesn't really have those links to bring her back to the Avengers, right? Like, Natasha's gone, Cap's gone, Tony's gone, Vision's gone, Quicksilver's gone, and Hawkeye's retired.
Yeah, I mean we even talked about this, haven't we? That
Oh yeah.
Is there even an Avengers now?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just before I get into this next little point, one thing you did say is that Agatha became like kind of aware of the hex from Wanda because she's a magic user. Well, there's someone who's guarding the entire universe, right? So I think Doctor Strange already does know about this, at least in some capacity. Maybe we're gonna maybe we're gonna get like some Easter egg at the end, and really it was Steven all along, but I don't know. Like, I just figured he would have showed up by now.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't think he's. I think we'll get him as a cameo in end credit scene, something like that, in the final episode. I don't. I think they've concentrated on these characters now. They've really focused on these characters, and to bring someone in, if they'd brought them in, we're talking about Reed Richards and some others that might drop in. But I think they're just going to stick with these characters now. And yeah, I'm still convinced we might get Doctor Strange in a cameo in an end credit scene. Yeah. But apart from that, I can't. But you're right. I mean, I wrote it down as well. He must know. Doctor Strange must. If Agatha's sort of felt what's going on and gone to it, Doctor Strange must know. Not just Doctor Strange, the others.
Yeah.
Your sorcerers and whatever, there's not just Doctor Strange monitoring the Earth, is it?
Oh yeah, exactly. They're everywhere. And they'd be pretty close. There's a sanctum in New York. Wait, that's Doctor Strange's too. Oh my God, he's across the river.
Yeah, I've actually been back and forth with who's gonna show up at the end, and just today I changed my mind to Doctor Strange, but I'll bring up why once we get closer towards the end of the episode or discussing the episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Well, yeah, I was just following on from what I've got a bit of a theory about this Mando style cameo, but I'll come to that at the end.
Yeah. All right, all right. I just wanted to touch on a few more things. One in particular that Agatha said. Oh my goodness, I can't speak today. So she tells her about Pietro, and then she calls him Fietro. And she's like, "Oh, that was you?"
Oh yeah.
She's like, "Oh, only my eyes and ears."
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Who do you think Pietro is? Because I think the theory that I kind of had about him being Nicholas Scratch is now out the window. I don't think that's him at
I
all.
I I I think he actually is Pietro, but like soulless, I guess you could say, like a resurrected version of him in a different body, just because she does bring up necromancy. And she said, like, oh, I would have gotten his original body, but it's on a completely different continent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, just like temporarily she resurrected him.
Maybe I think I maybe took that in a different way. I kind of took that like that was her original plan, but because of that, she kind of just used someone else instead. Because she even makes the point of saying like you're in so much grief, you didn't even question that like this looks nothing like your brother.
Right.
And like she's like you admitted to him that like you started this because you felt so much pain.
Yeah. That's. I took it that yeah, her original plan was to get the real fake. Sorry, it's the real fake. What am I on? I can't speak. No, I think the original plan was to get the real dead Pietro, but the fact that he was on a different continent makes me think, oh, she didn't have time or whatever. The fanboy in me wants me to think that I think she's just controlling someone else. She's making someone else look like a Pietro, and the fanboy in me wants me to believe that she's gone to another universe to get another Pietro, the Fox's Pietro, and she's just using him. I don't think that is though. Like I say, the fanboy in me wants that to happen, wants his connection with the Fox universe, but I think it's just going to be someone, just probably a Westview resident that she's just made look a little bit like Pietro.
Mhm.
But yet he has got the speed.
Yeah.
Whether or not Agatha is able to do that.
Yeah, and that's the big thing because we really haven't seen too much of her magic explored. Like,
He
could
knows a
she...
lot.
Oh, yeah.
So
But it's not exactly as Wanda remembered, too, which the Fox X-Men version for that will always make me think of that just because, like, it's a different version. It wasn't exactly the same. But that was also a very different character from, I feel like, what we've seen at all from Fietro in this show. I would, as much as I would like to have Quicksilver back, I feel like if we're going to do it properly, that would be to bring Aaron Taylor Johnson back, in my opinion. Because I think it's no secret that Marvel doesn't really want to bring the Fox X-Men over, minus Ryan Reynolds. I think they are going to start it from scratch and just... I think this was just kind of a little Easter egg, like what we were even saying when we did first see his cameo, that it's just a nod to sitcoms recasting people.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
As
Yeah,
much
because
as that
Marvel
sucks,
doesn't
but
Marvel doesn't like recasting. They did it once, and that was in the between the first and second Iron Man with Rhodey.
and Hulk.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I don't count that first movie.
It's not a bad movie actually.
It's not terrible, but
Yeah, but it's not a must watch. Yeah, that's for sure.
right, yeah, I don't even think it's added on the Disney Plus like series.
I don't think they own it.
Yeah, you're right. I
Universal.
think that was right before
it's actually
Disney and
it's on,
Marvel.
yeah, it's on Netflix in the UK.
Ooh, actually, it might be
Oh,
here
not
too.
here.
I think we did have it on Netflix for a while here. I don't know if it got moved somewhere else. I wouldn't be too surprised, honestly.
Yeah. I rewatched it. It was alright.
Yep. Sorry, getting back on track though. Just one last thing from that little basement scene. Wanda plucked a piece of, or sorry, Agatha plucked a piece of Wanda's hair and uses it to look at her memories, I guess. Flings it at the door. Very similar to what Doctor Strange did with Thor in order to find
Yes.
Odin. A little bit different, but it did remind me of a very similar thing, especially like the magic that she was using. I know it's kind of hard to say, like with the hand signs they do, because they are all very, very similar. I thought they looked similar there too. That could just be a reach and them doing something similar, but
No, yeah, I never made that connection, but now you say it, yeah, it's very Doctor Strange-esque, sort of, yeah, pluck the hair and yeah, I like that. I like that.
and this is a theory I saw, so this is not a theory I have, but that because Agatha knows how to do this, she was actually sent in by Doctor Strange to figure out what's going on, and that she's actually Doctor Strange's eyes inside everything, but he kind of picked her because she'll do what others probably wouldn't. Kind of like
That actually,
yeah.
well, that actually makes like a lot of sense, especially with.
Yeah, I agree it does. Personally, I'm not on board with that one though. I just don't see Strange doing that, especially for someone who he's probably going to need the help of in his next movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Unless he's lost control of it. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I think he would just go with himself.
yeah, honestly,
Yeah, he does everything himself, doesn't he? He doesn't delegate.
Yeah.
When he's even when he was a surgeon, he did everything himself and he wouldn't pass it on. Yeah. Nice. I like the idea of it, but no.
Yeah.
I don't
no, I'm with you there. It's a cool theory, but I feel like similarly to a lot of the other theories most people have had about this show, it's just that. So the next scene we do cut to Sokovia, and I believe it's in 1999, which
Yep.
Malcolm on the Middle, or Malcolm in the Middle, wasn't released on DVD until after 2000, right?
Yeah, I think they just did that to reference like all the shows
okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have pirated them. Never know.
Yeah.
How do we know it was 1999?
Isn't that the year that they said that it happened? How? Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. No, as Pietro said, how old were they when they got Bond 12, right?
Yes. 11 or 12, I thought.
So they were born in 86. Wait, that wouldn't be right.
Is all this in Age of Ultron? Is it?
Yeah, that part is where he's like, I think he's like just telling their backstory. He's like, we were 12.
He's talking to Ultron.
Yeah. I can't. I thought it was the 90s, because I think they even said in the show Wanda was born in, I want to say 86.
Yeah, right.
I actually wouldn't even match up. It'd be 98, right? Yeah. So around there probably though. But yeah, so they had a bunch of sitcoms, and I guess now we know where Wanda's sitcom love has come from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see
Cherished memories.
yeah. I mean that, just that scene with the young Wanda, and is it the Dick Van Dyke Show?
Yeah.
And you could just tell she wants to be. I've never watched the Dick Van Dyke Show, so I don't know who the female character is. The wife, I'm assuming. I don't know.
I think
anyway, so. That what I got from that scene is that's who she wants to be. She wants to be that wife. Where we just went from clips of her to one young Wanda and back and forth, and yeah, she just wants to be, probably because of the life she's she's known probably isn't very good in Sokovia, and that is just an idyllic sort of life, and yeah, she wants to be there.
Kind of, kind of the only normal style life she knows of.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, where everyone's happy.
Yeah, honestly. And that's almost just kind of echoed in just how her family is, even though they are in the war torn country. They're all happy there. They're having their TV night. There's one thing about that episode. Uh, I think it was on Twitter or Reddit. I read that episode is actually episode 20 of season 2. I don't know if that's a big difference or anything, but
What episode did they say it was? Was it not
season
episode
2 21.
Right. Okay.
So one difference. It's not a huge deal, but the episode, like the whole plot of the episode, is that they're watching this movie before bed about these aliens taking over and having walnuts everywhere, and then Dick wakes up the next day and apparently that's all true, and there's all these walnuts everywhere and they're like radioactive walnuts, and he's super confused, and it ends up just kind of being a dream. And this there, where it's also echoed, I'm going to skip a little bit ahead after the bombing. So after their apartment does get bombed, Wanda kind of says it's all right because when he wakes up, it's all just kind of a dream.
Yep.
And I thought that like that episode she's kind of talking about, it almost describes what she's done with Westview. She's made this kind of reality into a something she'd want, but in reality it is just a dream. It's gonna end.
So we're not gonna have a sort of next episode her waking up in bed and going, "Oh, it was all a dream."
Yeah. I hope not. I really hope not.
I don't think that's what's gonna happen, but yeah.
I was thinking more so of.
Marvel.
I honestly, they could, if they do, I'd switch to DC. No, I'm just kidding. No, but my thought was that like it's more like a bad dream, and I do think Wanda's aware of it, but it's also kind of like she is in that. And my phrasing here is very specific, nightmarish trance almost. Like I do think Nightmare is somewhat kind of behind Wanda at least. It does seem like a bad dream, especially this episode for her, having to relive all of these memories and the subtle hints that they've kind of dropped at her. It's just like, your husband's dead. Pietro we know is Agnes now, or Agatha. I'm gonna keep doing that, and I really need to stop. We know she's Agatha. But yeah, just like all that, like I think that's bits and pieces of Nightmare just being like, I'm getting to you, and I am messing with you. And I wonder if Doctor Strange actually isn't here because he's dealing with Nightmare elsewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a shot in the dark. That's an odd one.
I could play along with that in terms of if Nightmare is the big bad in Doctor Strange too. I think we've seen the characters that we're going to see now. I don't think there's going to be any more energy. I think Agatha's been hyped up or pushed up as the main baddie or one of the main baddies. Certainly Hayward. I mean, we'll come on to Hayward, but he's sort of right up there now as one of the big bads, and I think that's it. I don't think we need anyone else in this.
Yeah.
I think for someone just to turn up now in the last episode, I think it would be a bit of a. Might be cool if we know who it is. And, oh yeah, that'd be great seeing that person or whatever. But I think it'd be a bit of a letdown on the whole series. They've built these characters up, and I think that this is where we're sticking.
I like that idea though, because it has been great development the whole way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, goes definitely against all my theory that I still want to touch on later though. I do think we will get a new character that will lead into Doctor Strange. But again, I'm gonna wait till we bring up something about the episode to bring that up. So
Yeah, for sure. You guys could move on to the probability hex.
Yes. Yeah.
So
So she
Yeah.
she stopped it. She stopped the bomb.
yeah, that's exactly what I got from it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that tells me one more thing. Unfortunately, Wanda's not a mutant.
See, I took it the other way.
See, I think you can take it either way because she is at the perfect age where a mutation would start to develop. And Agatha does reference her as a baby witch. However, in some of the retconning in the comics, what they have done with Wanda, like probability hexes are still one of the first things she can do, but she is a witch and a sorcerer.
Yeah. So sorry, this is something I was going to ask because I did a little bit of reading up on this because well, I'll tell you where I stand first because my immediate thought went to, she's a mutant. She can do stuff, and like you say, she's at that age where, um, probably just before puberty, I think, is it when powers start coming about, and she may have just unwittingly sort of stopped that bomb from going off using her latent powers, and then um, all the interaction with the Mind Stone, released or maybe enhanced the mutant powers that she had. Where I went with immediately. When I did a bit of reading up on it, I understand that in the comics, she is a witch, or she's being retconned to be a witch,
Yeah.
and just have magical powers, and she's not a mutant. Is that correct?
Yeah, like in the comics, the mantle of the Scarlet Witch is actually handed down to her
From
Okay.
Cathan, right?
from her mom, who got the
Oh,
power from Chthon, though, I think. I
yeah.
think it was her mother or grandmother got the power from that, but it is handed down from her mother. And she kind of finds this out when she goes to this place called the Witch's Road, which I saw a lot of people thought that was what Agatha's basement was. I just kind of thought it was her lair.
Yeah.
I don't know. They can really go either way with this because they have it laid out perfectly for us. Where if they do it the either one of those ways, it makes complete sense because they've explained it to us. Like it's in their hands now. And to be honest, I'm wondering if they didn't have permission to actually call her a mutant in the show, and that might have been why they didn't. They might have been able to around the time they did their reshoots because the deal was well done then, but I don't
Yeah.
know if they would have after the original script writing.
Yeah, I keep forgetting this is like a year old almost now.
Yeah, because this was
Like the
supposed to drop in like
filming.
November originally.
Yeah.
I just still think that they want to stay away from mutants,
Yeah,
or because I still think X-Men's a long way away before, but they're gonna drip feed certain things, and well, it might just be my mind going to mutant because I know in a lot of the comics she's a mutant, so that's where I've gone with. But I don't think Marvel they could still go down the mutant route with her, but I think that they're not going to say mutant. But like you said, they could quite easily go down the witch route now. Maybe they sort of have, I don't know. Or is it just Agatha sort of,
yeah,
she's a witch?
and that's where like it's hard to say because I guess we can kind of combine this in with the next store, which is the Hydra test. Like, what do we think the Infinity Stone actually did?
Oh, I definitely think, yeah, it just enhanced her powers, opened it up kind of more.
Yeah,
Something I think she would have eventually opened up, but it just sped up the process.
Yeah, I'm trying
Because,
to
I mean, yeah, the whole bomb scene and everything, yeah, kind of goes hand in hand, I think, together.
yeah,
and there's been the whole notion the entire way through the MCU that like if you can survive an Infinity Stone, like direct contact, like there's something different about you. We saw Peter Quill. Honestly, kind of a little bit with Jane Foster, I thought, in The Dark World. Maybe not too much. I feel like we might get into that more in Thor 4.
Yeah.
Who else? The Red Skull when he.
Thor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was it? Yeah, Thor, I
No,
think, too.
Thanos. Thanos was touched
Hmm.
Well, a couple, well, quite a few.
Then
All of
Captain Marvel,
them.
yeah. Yeah, Thanos guys, he did the best. Snapped and lived, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes me not see. Now I'm kind of thinking that she's already a mutant, because like if she would have had this kind of ability like latent already, I mean, again, they could do it if she was a witch, but it'd make a bit more sense if she was a mutant because technically she is not a human or Homo sapien. Like she's the next evolution of it. So chances are she's probably a bit more protected to the Infinity Stones than regular humans are.
But then,
I mean, yeah, mutant would make sense because there's Pietro too. Then, I mean, he survived it. He's obviously not a witch
But you
or
can
sorcerer or whatever.
but you can use the argument that Wanda used her probability hex to just protect both of them.
Good point. Good
Or
point.
and like that's even how Pietro got powers because she wanted him to be kind of like her.
Along with the ride, yeah.
Because the probability hex is just the ultimate plot armor, so she can never lose. Like, especially in the comics when she first came in, like that's exactly how it was used. Like it was like, oh, we need this one thing that isn't here. Well, I just found it in this drawer. It's like, okay. It's like, and obviously, like her character got a lot more developed, and she got like a lot more and bigger powers. We'll get into, but yeah, it's so tough.
I
I
know.
just think.
Trying to stay on.
See, I'm just, I'm certainly what I got from Agatha is, and probably what I got from Doctor Strange as well. That as a witch or a wizard or whatever sorcerer, you have to learn your trade. Whereas Wanda's not learned anything. She's got these powers, which again makes me think she's a mutant. Um, and the Mind Stone has amplified. Well, actually, Agatha says amplified. Um, that her powers were amplified by the Infinity Stone. So I'm sticking with mutant. Me, that's where I'm going.
I think I'm gonna have to now. Just like, I I was thinking witch, but I think I have to stick with mutant because her
Gotta
powers
talk
won't change
yourself
either
into
way.
it.
Yeah, honestly. No, Chris talked me into it.
Which will probably mean that we're wrong.
Hey, we got Agatha.
Yes, we did get Agatha. Yeah. Did anyone else think, by the way, when we went into Hydra bit, did anyone think we were going to get Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Yes.
I so did. I was so come on, this is it. It's coming. Ah, shit, no.
I thought they were gonna do maybe not the scene when she was getting her powers, but I thought like the one like immediately afterwards where she's watching the thing on TV. I thought like at least something, maybe even on like the camera footage of the guards who were watching her, like, oh, you see Pietro's in a cell or none of that.
Yeah.
Or they could have shown at least like old footage of the post-credit scene of
Yeah,
them sitting in the room.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
could have at least used that.
is that the Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, it's funny. I just watched The Winter Soldier, but I didn't watch the post-credit scene.
I'm doing an MCU rewatch with my one friend because he's never seen any of them, and Winter Soldier's the one we're actually going to be watching tonight. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So we got him past
Isn't it
Avengers.
Isn't it
Yeah.
exciting? Like showing somebody that hasn't seen them, watching it all over again. Like I don't know, I get excitement out of that for some reason.
Oh, I do too.
I'm always usually looking at a friend that's never seen it, like waiting for their reaction.
Yeah, I've actually been watching. I've rewatched all the WandaVision episodes with my wife, who has never seen anything MCU. She's just not bothered, which
That's okay.
I would actually think about it. Anyway, no, she's not into that stuff. Fair enough. But getting her into WandaVision, she's it's been absolutely brilliant watching, like what you see, watching someone else watch something brand new, not knowing anything. And I keep saying, certain times I'm saying, oh, this is her dead brother who isn't really her brother, but the Fox universe, and she's just like, shut up, Chris. I just don't know all these. I was like, yeah, it's a bit complicated, that, isn't it? Yeah, just watch it, actually.
It's more funny when you look at it like Malcolm in the Middle and the Brady Bunch and Bewitched.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Uh,
I mean, she's loved it. She, more the
Yeah.
mystery side of it, of like what's going on here. Which, yeah,
Yeah.
and I so wish I was your mate watching Winter Soldier for the first time, because
Oh my god.
that's my favorite.
So yeah,
There's
same.
a lot. So,
Y-
that would be good.
Yeah, I was like, told him last night, because I went home early after we'd watched one, and I was like, okay, please do not watch The Winter Soldier without me. You can watch The Dark World, you can watch Iron Man 3, that's okay. Do not watch The Winter Soldier without me. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, tomorrow we will watch it after the podcast. I promise. But we will. Shout out Train. We are getting that done. You will be at the. You'll be caught up by Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Just going back on when she, I don't know if she touched the Mind Stone or whatever in the Hydra scene, and she saw an image of someone, and I think this brings me back to the Agatha's mother, where she had that tiara type thing on her head, and I'm not saying it's her, I'm not saying it's Agatha's mother in the Mind Stone, but do we think they're related in some way? Is that tiara a symbol of I don't know, her being, I don't know. See, I thought that was Wanda seeing herself in the future becoming,
Yeah.
I don't want to say the words, because we'll come on to that. But seeing the tiara and her becoming great, maybe, I don't know.
I have seen an enhanced photo or an enhanced image of that photo.
Yeah.
It is Elizabeth Olsen's face.
All right.
So that is her. But I do think those crowns are connected. I think. Why show it in the beginning if there's no relation to them? Like, it just seems kind of like a throwaway thing.
Yeah.
And it really
Yeah.
shouldn't be. Like, this is obviously something new, something we haven't seen, a different side of this universe that we've been learning so much about the past 10 years. So I do think it's really important still.
But we all think it was Wanda, maybe a future Wanda or something, or her seeing herself or something, maybe. Is that where we're all at with that?
I think it's her seeing her future. I don't know if they could do something like it could literally be her future because we do have time travel now. But I think it's more so just her seeing it.
I think it would be because, I mean, watching Age of Ultron, she's able to show people, future, past, like, events. So that could be, kind of a little cameo back to that, but something also brand new.
Yeah.
That'd be a really good one, actually. It's really hard to say with the Infinity Stones because even though we've focused for 20 some odd movies on them, we still really don't know a ton about them.
No.
No, that's very true. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, I thought they were gonna move away from them.
Yeah, and I
So
was
I
happy.
would seem to be focusing on them more.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I was quite happy for them to move away. It was like, yeah, they're done now. But actually, yeah, sort of the things we've been seeing, certainly in WandaVision, sort of like, actually, might be pretty cool if these things were just sort of flying around a bit.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not being the focus of the next big bad. Just people are using them or tapping into them or whatever. Yeah, I'm I'm coming around to them being around if they are. I don't know. Again, I'll come on to something later on about.
Yeah.
Them.
I think we're all probably thinking the same thing around there.
Yeah. What I did find pretty cool, just a little thing on that again on that Hydra scene was when the guards or the scientists, whoever they were, went to look again at the footage of what had happened, and it had been edited. And I just thought, is that just a little bit of a play on the editing she's been doing to WandaVision, the WandaVision signal that's been going out, where she's edited stuff out? I don't know. I don't know if that was just a little cool thing they did. Just sort of had a little giggle when I saw that.
Yeah, honestly, same here. I thought that's kind of what it was. Then what was the door after that one? It was
We went to
Wanda and
Avengers.
Vision, they're kind of relationship starting, blooming, I guess.
Yeah, and Tony Stark with the trolley stands despite being like the richest person in the universe. Like, what? I was like, okay. The substitute teacher came in.
I mean, I thought that was I thought it was a great scene. It sort of it filled that gap which we probably should have had before Infinity War, which we probably knew happened. You know, what happened from Age of Ultron to Infinity War, or Civil War probably to Infinity War. You know, we know they've obviously got together and felt some of each other, and then Infinity War we just see them together really. But I think it was nice to see that was obviously the start of things. He makes her laugh, which obviously she probably hasn't laughed for a long time, given what's happened to her. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool scene, to be honest.
Vision in that scene just it honestly seemed like it was a scene that they filmed back in 2015. Like
Yeah,
it
almost.
literally seemed like it was just ripped right from there, just how he's acting and everything. Like it's completely different from anything we've even seen the last 3 years. Oh, it was great.
Yeah, that was. I purposely took an interest in Bettany in that scene, to, like you say, to see, is he? And it was like, yeah, he was the Vision of a few years ago, where just everything's straight down the line, and yeah, it was cool. Yeah, enjoyed it.
And then there, Agatha just keeps tempting Wanda. She really wants the answer to how she did this. And see, at first I thought this was Agatha trying to plant something in Wanda's head to maybe get her to, maybe not show her the correct memory, but a manipulated one. But I think she was really just trying to do it to force the memory out of her because I think we definitely now have seen what actually happened at Sword Headquarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say
Okay.
fucking Hayward.
Yep. I think, if anything, he's the big bad of the show because this is all his fault.
Yep.
He
Manipulated the recordings and.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've written down. He's even the things he says to Wanda.
Or when they're at when they're at like the Sword headquarter outside of the Hex, like he doesn't say it's tracking Vision, it's tracking vibranium, like not Vision himself.
Yeah, well, I'll come on to that.
Yeah, same here.
That's what it goes into a little bit more, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. What I took from it was, he could quite easily have said to Wanda, this is Vision's wishes. This was in his what you call it, that once he's died, he wants to be disassembled. His will. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Forgot the word.
Vision's will. Yeah, that's what that. Yeah, because he said that earlier on in episode 3 or 4, whatever it was. He actually said it was Vision's will for him to be disassembled.
Isn't it also a part of the Sokovia Accords?
It is,
yeah,
yes.
so it's not a big Centennial weapon.
Yeah, and Hayward never once said it to. That's all he had to say to Wanda was, it's in the Accords, and this is his will, for him to be disassembled. And well, to be fair, she probably still would have reacted the same way.
Yeah.
But he purposely didn't say that, and he even implied that she could bring him back to life.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, I can't do that. But he planted the seed. So I think all of this happened because of Hayward. I don't think he planned it exactly like this, but I think he just thought, I can push her in a certain way to get her to bring Vision back online. I don't think for once he thought, the whole Hex thing was going to happen. But, he did all this to get Vision back online, and he thought, Wanda's me way into this. Which then brings me on, am I jumping ahead a little bit? No, not really. And I've been back and forth on this. The property deeds that is in her car, is that something that she's had for a while and actually is from Vision? Or has someone like Hayward planted it and gone, oh, this is from Vision, it was for you, and it's not really from Vision? And so she's gone there, and that's when it's all clicked and it's all happened. Or am I reading far too much into it? Is it just Vision who bought them?
I don't know.
Some property.
See, I thought it was Vision because on the deed, I've stopped and looked at it a few times. It does say like the property deed is to Wanda Maximoff and the Vision.
Yeah.
So like,
but is that faked?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought exactly the same because I stopped it as well. I went, oh, actually, yeah, no, it's got Vision's name on, and I thought, oh, but if someone's faking this, they would fake that anyway. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm not saying either way really. I've just had two thoughts: is it Vision or is it not? And probably quite easily be both scenarios. Probably, I don't know.
See, I took it as Vision already bought it because I thought it was already on the seat when she got into the car after leaving Sword headquarters. But I can't remember if we saw that.
I think it was, and it looked like it was open too.
Yeah. It was. It was already on the seat, and it was open. So that does imply that. Yeah, she already had it. She probably already had it off Vision. Perhaps, I don't know. Like I say, I may have thought too much into that.
Yeah, honestly, I think it makes sense either way. It's really hard to say until next episode. We probably won't know.
Right.
Yeah. What I did find heartbreaking in that particular scene is when she drops down to see the dissembled Vision, and then she goes to try and feel him and says, "Oh, what's the words? Oh, I
can't feel you."
Which is is it Infinity War?
Yeah.
Where he says, "All I can feel is you."
Yeah.
Well, that's what she says to that to him at the beginning before Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight show up, and then that's exactly what he says before she blows up the Mind Stone, and then Thanos reverses time like a second later. Yeah.
What a dick.
Him and Hayward.
Yeah. See, Thanos is a more likable villain than Hayward. Hayward's just a dick.
Yeah.
No, fuck Hayward.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
And then, but after this, getting back on track here, after that little scene at Sword, Wanda didn't take the body. It stayed there. And she left to what was on the deed, Westview, New Jersey, which did exist before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It did run down, didn't it?
Oh my god, did it ever. I was like, this city looks bad. And like, it almost seems like the way they're trying to show you, it's like, did Wanda do this not only so she could have what she wanted, but also just kind of help this place out? Because it does look a lot better once she's kind of taken it over. But then again, like, it's the ethical question of, is this even right?
Yeah, they don't look... I mean, who do we see? We see Herb. We see Mrs. Hart.
Mm-hmm.
We see Dottie's husband. I think it's Dottie's husband, the one with the moustache. We see the postman. We don't see Dottie.
No.
We
Or
don't
Mr.
see
Hart, who we haven't seen since episode 2.
no. And who was his co-worker, Vision's co-worker?
Norm.
Releases for a bit. Norm. Didn't see Norm. But yeah. Yeah, but it was, yeah, like you say, a very run down place. And then obviously
Waiting for a tumbleweed to go through the road.
Yeah, honestly, though.
yeah, yeah. I just would have thought if Vision had bought somewhere for them, sure you could have bought something a bit better.
Yeah.
Well, not if it was during Civil War and Infinity War.
Well, I was gonna say, we've seen how cheap Stark is. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he was barely paying the Avengers. Like, come on.
Well, I was gonna say, with Wanda being wanted, if he bought it between Civil War and Infinity War, kind of off the map,
Yeah.
away,
Mm-hmm.
nobody would think to look at a broken down city.
Yeah.
Or town.
It might have been a nice place before the blip.
Yeah. It probably
Oh,
was,
yeah.
and that's kind of what I was thinking. They probably bought this, like, either when they were in hiding, right as Infinity War started, or, like, sometime in that 2 years before.
Well, yeah, it must have been, mustn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because he was dead within the next 2 days.
Yeah.
The 3-year-old robot murdered. And it's also something we won't get too much into, but Wanda, we see you. Stay away from the children.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Last scene.
I was gonna say I think we basically see from there that it's her grief that just creates the hex and the illusion of these sitcoms, and it's a big surprise to everyone that she actually creates Vision.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Vibranium from nothing,
Well, this is the point I was going to say, which you picked up on, Zach, that Hayward is apparently tracking the vibranium in the hex. I think Darcy said that was it the last episode, or maybe episode 6? I don't know.
Yes.
She finds out that
Yeah, I think it
that
was
Hayward's-
6.
Yeah, Hayward's tracking the vibranium. So, yeah, has she created vibranium, or has she created the illusion that vibranium's there? That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
If you can understand the difference, because this brings me on to things like are Tommy and Billy real, or is it just the fact that in the hex they are? Which then brings me on. Brings me on to that. Obviously, Vision couldn't survive outside the hex. So, is it just her illusion?
I think it is.
I think it is real,
Yeah.
just because, I'm skipping a scene ahead just from what Agatha says, Wanda has the ability to, of creation, and she brings up her kids and Vision, and, just that fact when Vision was trying to leave the hex, he was still visible but breaking apart, and obviously Wanda loses control the closer to the end of the hex. And she had no idea where Vision was when he tried to leave.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because if it was just her sort of illusion, I think that's the words I'm going to use, as opposed to her creating a being. If it was her illusion, she would have more control.
Yeah.
Over the illusion, and the fact that you're right, Zach. She lost control of Vision. Does that mean he's real? I don't know. I've been back and forth on this. What I've heard is that the end is going to be very sad next episode. That's apparently what's coming out.
Yeah.
It'll be a very sad ending. That means the loss of the Vision that we know in the Hex, and Tommy and Billy, because that's what she's created, and that's an illusion.
Yeah.
That's why you can't survive outside the Hex. Or another thought that I had was that she hasn't learned, or she hasn't realized the power that she has. She's containing everything in this Hex at the moment because she thinks she needs to keep it in the Hex. Can she actually keep these beings alive, Vision and Tommy and Billy, outside the Hex? But she just hasn't realized she's able to do that yet. I don't know. Again, it's just more thoughts that just keep coming, and I don't know. Maybe I haven't quite got all my thoughts together on this yet.
It's an ever-changing situation. And I do have a theory for this, but I feel like we should talk about the post-credit scene first, because I think my theory for what's going to happen will be a little bit different than yours. And I think it's actually a bit different than most people's as well, from what I've seen.
Right. I'll tell you what. If we just jump on, because we're nearly at the was it the end credit scene?
Yeah.
But the end of the episode. Where
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta say, before we do, I'm pretty proud of us that we kept on track. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah. We haven't.
you know,
jumped ahead yet, have
no,
we?
none of us. Nope.
I think at some point all three of us wanted to. Though.
Oh, yeah. I was like
Multiple
this
times.
close.
But yeah, so Wanda's created Vision, and they've gone straight into that 1960s Dick Van Dyke show, and then Agatha just seems to sort of realise, well, sees how it's all happened. She's obviously clicked, realised what's going on, and then we jump to her having, or holding hostage Billy and Tommy, to which she then reveals Wanda to be the Scarlet Witch, which, I'll be honest, I have no idea what that means. It sounds really daft. I know she's called the Scarlet Witch. I've known her as the Scarlet Witch. She's never been called that in the MCU. But the way Agatha delivered the line seems to imply a lot more than what I thought it was just a name. Now, I don't know if you guys can help out. I've read a little bit around it, but I'd like to hear from you guys what you think.
This is partially what I was saying about the comics.
Yeah.
How I think she might not be a mutant, because the Scarlet Witch was the legacy character. Yeah, it's a legacy character, so it would get passed down. The Scarlet Witch is also a Nexus being, so someone who can exist outside of any reality.
Which we've had in the adverts.
Yes, Nexus for sure. Yeah. And we didn't get one this episode either, because I think we're now done with the sick. Well, I mean, I think it's quite clear we're done with the sitcom thing now. But I don't know. I think the Scarlet Witch is something of myth in like witch culture, or like a myth, kind of like what Thor is to humans in the MCU. He's a myth, but like he actually is real. That's what the Scarlet Witch is to them. And Wanda's the next in line to receive that mantle. And that's the big part where I'm kind of thinking that she might not be a mutant because of that. That they might just go right into the witch stuff.
See, I had this as this is me sticking to my guns with her being a mutant, probably. That I think this is just Agatha thinking playing on something she's been probably brought up on, this myth of a Scarlet Witch, who has this ultimate power or this chaos magic that she refers to, and she thinks Wanda is the Scarlet Witch because she has all this immense power, and I think she's just putting that into it. She knows the story of the Scarlet Witch, so she's saying that that's who she is.
That makes sense.
But that being said, it could well be, if they want to go down the sort of the witch, if Marvel want to go down the witch storyline, then yeah, this completely fits. But I'm making it fit into the mutant category at the moment, and that's probably just me doing that. I don't know. Other people probably think the same, but I'm making it work in my own head that Agatha's disillusioned, not me. She is a mutant, so I'm not. Agatha is.
Honestly, that makes a lot of sense, because I think in many ways already the show's actually has shown us that, like, Agatha's got some stuff going on. She doesn't see the world in a sane view.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, like, I think that'd make 100% sense.
Yeah. I think it will be just down to how Marvel want to go, to be fair. Because either route, which what we talked about there, whether it's the mutant route that I'm calling it, or like you said, like the witchy route. Either way, it could go. Be interesting to see. I mean, I've actually got it up on the screen here now, just because you touched on it, Zach, about spontaneous creation, and I've been back and forth on this, because what she actually says is this is Agatha sort of explaining to Wanda what she thinks Wanda is, and she says, "Oh, you're a myth." She says, "I think she might says a few more things," and then she says, "Oh, you're a being capable of spontaneous creation," which at first,
And you do it to me.
which at first I thought that was, and what we'd seen literally just before her creating Vision, I'm thinking, oh, so she can just spontaneously create stuff. But she doesn't say that. She says, you're a myth of being capable of spontaneous creation, which makes me think, is Wanda the spontaneous creation? Or is the Scarlet Witch? So it's not that the Scarlet Witch can spontaneously create things, it's just that the Scarlet Witch can spontaneously create herself. I don't know, maybe.
Like, almost kind of like the Phoenix, how they do that.
Yeah.
Like how, like, it dies but it can resurrect itself and it will find a host, kind of thing. Yeah.
Spontaneous creation. It's just, whereas, but I must admit, at first I did think, like what you said, Zach, that Wanda is capable of create stuff.
Yeah.
With Vision and the vibranium.
But then they went into then she mentioned the chaos magic, and for me that's why I'm kind of more on the line of what you're thinking, Chris. It's just like, you mentioned the chaos magic and that makes it seem like an illusion now. Not something that was created, but something that was manipulated.
Yeah.
But I believe that is the end of the episode proper. But there is a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
All right. I'll describe it a sec, because I would like to immediately get into this. So the end credit scene, Hayward is looking at his plan that a lot of people were thinking was going to be nuking Westview. Turns around, walks back into his tent, and it looked like they turned a key for what I assumed was a nuke to go off. But there's a panel beside it and a body, and them describing, oh, we've put it and taken it back together so many times, all we needed was something straight from the source. Cut to Stark Tech Jet with Wanda's magic infused. Cut back to now White Vision from the 1980s West Coast Avengers, completely blank, getting woken up for the first time. Now, the White Vision in the comics, which I'm assuming they're probably going to take a similar route in the MCU. He died, essentially had his memory wiped, and came back. I think that's kind of what they're doing here, but I think one big scene that Wanda said earlier in this episode just shows us that that's not Vision. She couldn't feel Vision when she was in the Sword HQ, and this is the same Vision that was there. There's a lot of things that made up Vision, like the Mind Stone and Tony Stark. But a big one was Ultron. And I think we just saw Ultron return.
I was about to say I don't think Paul Bettany will voice him. I think James Spader will be voicing the White Vision.
I think it's going to be a mix of both.
Yeah, kind of like distorted. Yeah, because James Spader is on some. I know Google's not always accurate, but like some of the casting you look up, you do see James Spader's name in there. Some of them you don't, though. I mean, like I said, anybody can edit that and add it in, but
yeah, like it's really hard to say with those because the chances are like someone probably did get a scoop at some point that was like maybe they were just in talks with Spader to return at some point, and they're just kind of like,
right.
well, this makes sense. She's connected to literally all of them very closely. Like honestly, if this was the series you're gonna bring them back in, probably the one to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
The links with one in particular, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought about that. I just thought they were going down the white Vision route, and
I think that's a bit more realistic, though. The White Vision route.
That seems most obvious from the clip.
Well, wasn't he called Spectral Vision in the comics? Or was that a different comic?
They have called him that, but they did just call him the Vision afterwards. Like, because they just stuck with the Vision name. The Vision has a really weird, like, comic history. Like, there's another character that essentially is the Vision, but was one of Timely Comics, so Marvel's, like, 1940s first creations that just kind of got shelved and hasn't been around at all. So, like, that was basically, like, Vision was kind of a copy of that.
Oh, okay.
Vision has had a long and complicated, like most of these characters actually, now that I'm thinking about it, just through all the retcons and reboots that have gone on. Like, it's a long, complicated history with all of them. But I know Spectral Vision does sound like familiar. But I wonder if that was when Ultron had control of them.
I just seen it on the internet a few times here and there. So I was just wondering if that's what they're going to call him, or...
I need to read the West Coast Avengers series again. Because it looks like they're going into a decent amount of that. But yeah, I mean, that's it for me. I think... I do think inside the Hex they are illusions. I think Vision inside is going to have a way to get out of it, because I think that's going to become the new Vision. I don't think Billy and Tommy will.
What I've seen a lot on online on the web is people asking the question: do you think the Hex Vision, we'll call him that maybe, I don't know, or the Illusion Vision, could he sort of get into White Vision? You know, embody, you know, sort of. Could they merge, type of thing? I don't know.
I think that makes sense, especially if it's something that she created.
Yeah, to me though, that's the happy ending.
Yeah.
For him to get his body, and we've sort of been told. Again, this might be Marvel just pulling one over us again, saying you're not getting a happy ending, because they've said that it's not going to be a happy ending type of thing. So, to me, that's the happy ending. He gets his body, and you know, he's back type of thing. Which, don't get me wrong, I would want that. Are we going to see that? I think we are, but I don't know. I think what it is going to lead into is just a big fuck off, fight. But, you know,
What
they're
everyone's
obviously
really wanted.
yeah, they're obviously sending White Vision in to kick ass type of thing, which brings me on to my theory, um, that we've talked before about this Mandalorian style cameo that is apparently coming our way. I think a few of the cast members have actually said that, including Olsen and Bettany. But I don't think we are getting anyone, and this is why. And I'm going to read out. I found Bettany's quote actually, what he said. I'll just read this out. So this is Bettany, Paul Bettany. This is the theory that says there is some mysterious Avenger who's going to appear in WandaVision, and people seem to think the mysterious Avenger is Doctor Strange. Truth is, all of the characters that we were trying to keep secret, a lot of them got out through leaks. There is one character that has not been revealed, and it's very exciting. It's an actor I've longed to work with all my life. We have some amazing scenes together, and the chemistry between us, I think, extraordinary.
Oh
And
my
it,
god.
and it was just fireworks on set. So I'm really excited for people to see that stuff. I now think that this cameo is himself.
Just
And he's just been massively taking the piss.
halfway through that, I got what you were saying.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's just going to be. I mean, that's Bettany saying that, and I think it's just him taking the piss, going, "Yeah, I'm going to be fighting myself."
yeah.
So yeah. So I think we've seen the big cameo. I think it's the return of Vision or White Vision or maybe Ultron. Maybe Ultron. I can get on board with that. But yeah. So all those sort of discussions we've had previously about who did we talk about? Reed Richards,
Blue Marvel.
talk about Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto.
Magneto.
Professor X.
Did you say Professor X? Yeah, you know
Think
all
so.
these. I think Loki.
Logan. Oh yeah.
Loki got mentioned. I think it's just all nonsense. I don't think we're going to see anyone. I say that we may still. I'm still think we might get Doctor Strange in a maybe end credit scene. Later
Yeah.
into Doctor Strange 2. I still think we might get that. But in terms of in next week's sort of episode, I don't think we're going to see anyone.
Yeah. After that, now I'm on board with you. Because that makes the most sense. And it actually, just quickly before I kind of go on past that, but do you guys maybe want to discuss the new Spider-Man title after with this?
I'd be down.
All right.
No, I just wanted to bring up my real quick why I think it might be strange, and this is not my theory. I got it off Cosmic Wonders YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
I was just listening to it today, how Doctor Strange could enter, but it's complicated. With Wanda being Scarlet Witch now, and like Bright bringing up earlier that it was passed down initially from Cathan. Is that his name? Being a elderly god or something, and he's gonna be coming to Earth or something, and Doctor Strange is protector of any threats against Earth. So Wanda being the new Scarlet Witch, having that connection to Cathan, could bring in Doctor Strange, and then leading into Multiverse of Madness. I hope I didn't butcher his theory, but
Well, honestly, I feel like that's almost kind of on. I don't know if you were here when I brought this up, if it was last week or if it was 2 weeks ago, Zach. But that I think my theory for the Mandalorian style cameo, spoiler if you haven't seen Mandalorian 2, is that it's going to be Mark Hamill playing Cathan.
that would
That
had to have been last week. That would be dope.
And this is another thing why I'm really thinking of the wordplay, because Marvel has been very tricky with the wordplay, especially in the last few weeks regarding just stuff they've announced. So
Oh,
like, I don't know. We're obviously like probably looking a little too deep into it, but I don't know.
The thing is, I mean, yeah, I mean, we probably right way through the series, we've looked at stuff, and a lot of stuff hasn't come what we thought might come. But that being said, Marvel are very good at sprinkling stuff through. It wouldn't surprise me if we end up at Doctor Strange or even Spider-Man 3 or Doctor Strange 2 in however many months, years time, whatever, and then we see something there and go, well, a second. And then when we look back at WandaVision, there's something in WandaVision that is, that we see in Doctor Strange too. So that we probably never picked up on. So they're very good at sprinkling sort of little things in. So I think we do right analysing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I'm gonna call this the Multiverse Saga, the Spider-Man, WandaVision, and Multiverse of Madness. I get Loki's kind of in there, but I think that's for a separate reason, just to bring him back to the mainline MCU. Personally, I don't know. These ones in particular, Far From Home takes place after the events of WandaVision.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right. 'Cause it's
No
like
Way Home,
8 months later.
yeah, and No Way Home takes place. Oh, by the way, the new Spider-Man title is Spider-Man No Way Home. So, in case you haven't seen
You can
the,
edit that.
yeah, yeah, there's a few troll titles out there from the actors themselves. That was pretty funny. We can get into that in a sec, but I don't know. I think it's Doctor Strange is 100% appearing in No Way Home. Obviously, he's going to be appearing in his own movie.
I'd hope so. No, no.
If so, WandaVision's before Far From Home, and our theory is that Doctor Strange will probably show up at the end of WandaVision. If Wanda is not the villain of this next movie, I expect her to also show up with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I think it doesn't fit the story. If that's how they take it.
Yeah. Is she not being confirmed? Has also not been confirmed for Spider-Man 3. Is she
No.
not? No. I mean, I know there's that many people linked with Spider-Man 3 now. I've lost track of who actually is going to be in it. But
I'm trying to think of who's actually confirmed. Because half of them are just rumors.
well, this is it. I thought the likes of who's the two Doc Ock, forgetting the actor.
Oh, that one actually was
Oh,
confirmed.
And Jamie Foxx.
Both of those are confirmed, yeah.
They are definitely confirmed, right?
And Tom Holland.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I heard they're pushing for a new one.
Yeah, right.
Maguire and Garfield aren't confirmed, though, are they?
No.
I know they're heavily talked about them being there, along with. I mean, I've been told William Dafoe.
Yeah. I think that's also a rumor.
Well, I think that one probably is because that's the latest one I've heard. Who else? There was others as well.
Well, what's the guy's name who played Sandman? Thomas March? Is that it?
I played who?
The Sandman in Spider-Man 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure on his name.
I think
I
he
know
was
the
one of the
actor.
ones
I
who
know
was
who you're
rumored.
talking about.
He was in the film Sideways, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's a good actor, to be fair. I'm not a good. I'm not trying to say he's a bad actor, but he just did for me.
Yeah. I think we've all seen Sony's meddling has done no favors to Spider-Man.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a shitload of actors,
Yeah.
linked with Spider-Man 3, and well, I've certainly talked before about my worries of putting far too many characters into a film. Yet Marvel did it with with Infinity War and Endgame, so who am I to say? Yeah, okay. Just stepping back into WandaVision. and Agatha. Do you guys think she's a baddie? Because I got a little
No.
bit of a
No.
no, yeah, that's all right. Because I got a little bit of a she's just sort of there to for selfish reasons, probably just to try and get Wanda's power for herself, maybe,
Yeah.
and then she's realised, shit, this is the Scarlet Witch, whatever whatever that is to her, but it seems like a big thing. And actually, by the end, I think she seems to be doing this as like a bit of an anti-hero type of thing that
Yeah.
actually I need to save the world from the Scarlet Witch. That's the sort of feeling
I can see that. I think that'd make a lot of sense for her character too, just because even from back in her coven, you could make the argument that the whole time she's studying something that she thinks she rightfully should. Why should they be hiding it from her in the first place? If she's going to be trained as a witch, why not teach her this stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, and she only turned on them because they turned on her.
exactly.
You know, they went for her first, so she then. Yeah.
Yeah, and almost like true Punisher type format, pretty much, which is like the epitome of the anti-hero.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that works 100%. I also think on top of that, she wants to bring someone back to life too. I think there's someone because I just keep going back to that scene right after she picks up Sparky, who at that time we didn't know she killed him, but she picks him up and Billy and Tommy are like you can do anything, like bring back the dead. She's like, what? And Agatha's just like, you can do that? And it seemed like that was like she was just way out of character for Agnes.
And looking back
Yeah.
now, the reason, yeah, Agatha just was purely there for waiting for Wanda to snap out of it, and I think Agatha was probably just finding everything out about her as well, about how powerful she was. So yeah, you're right. I think that was probably a true feeling, or to her true sort of thoughts there. Can she actually bring people back from the dead? And yeah, that probably feeds into probably your theory of that she wants to. Are you maybe talking about Scratch? What's his name?
Scratchy, yeah.
Oh, Nicholas Scratch?
Nicholas
Or-
Scratch. Yeah.
His rabbit.
I don't know because
Because she talked to the rabbit
yeah,
in the beginning of the episode. Now that might have just been Agatha joking on. Oh, she was talking to the rabbit as if oh, Wanda doesn't know what's going on here. But I sort of took it as is Senor Scratchy actually, I don't know, is the soul of whoever she wants to get back. And we talked last week about it being Nicholas Scratch, which is her son. Is his soul perhaps in the rabbit maybe? And yeah.
I think so, honestly.
Yeah.
I just think that makes the most sense. Especially, she fed the rabbit, was it a cicada? Or a
Yeah.
locust, right?
It was a cicada.
Yeah, like, rabbits are herbivores. They would not be eating
Yep.
cicadas. So, the fact
I
that...
never thought about that. Yeah.
So the fact that she does throw it at one and then it just starts eating it makes me kind of think that, like, yeah, like, this isn't a rabbit. I do think it's Nicholas Scratch, and I think you're probably right that what she wants from Wanda is to bring her son back.
Yeah.
Or maybe her grandchildren too. Salem 7! I think we're too far gone for that, though.
Two last points
Ah.
for me.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, Zach, go on.
I just literally found this. One of the ruins, or the ruin that they show in the beginning, kind of represents Magneto's helmet and has an M on the top of it.
And the House of M logo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that when I first, the 4 or 5 times I watched the episode, but cool little, even if it's just an Easter egg or something, pretty cool.
When she started creating a house as well, when she sort of unleashes the power and she's creating the house, is that the style of all that come together? Is that a sort of like House of M type of graphics?
Yeah.
I've seen that before in the comics where it's sort of like brickwork or something sort of.
Yeah, almost like jigsaw pieces.
Yeah, yeah. I just thought that was probably just a nice little nod to the House of M story.
Yeah.
Perhaps I don't know. But yeah, the two last bits from me. Where the fuck is the beekeeper?
Thank you. Oh my god, I actually also had that down.
Who a bastard. He's still in the sewer. It's seriously wrong.
Oh yeah.
And and Jimmy Woo's missing person still has not been mentioned from episode 1. It hasn't been mentioned since. I still can't believe that they've just mentioned that in the first episode and it's not going to be mentioned again. It just seems like a major sort of
Yeah.
misstep if they have, because I've said this before. If that was the reason why Jimmy Woo's there, fair enough. But they could have made another reason for him to be involved other than there's a missing person in Westview, and it's never talked about again. I still think that. I mean, we might not. We might not find out. Might not find out about the beekeeper either. But
I'd be
unless the missing person is made up, you know, like something made by Hayward.
or something made by the Hex. Like, yeah, I could see that.
Something just to bring his presence there and whatever his connections to finding, you know, or whatever. But yeah, no, I was wondering that too. Like, why is this missing person never brought back up?
I keep going back to. Oh, sorry, Zach.
I was gonna say after seeing Hayward's, you know, true self and his manipulation, wouldn't be too far fetched that he made it up and pushed it down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of. I mean, this has just popped into your head now. But thinking, obviously, Hayward is known from the start. What's happened? Well, how did he know? Would he have known that she's gone to Westview and created this?
Unless he gave her that deed from Vision, and like that was like his will was there.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why did he send Monica there? Maybe he didn't know.
I think that's still from the beginning of the show, kind of what we were thinking, is that he just wanted to get rid of her.
Yeah.
He doesn't want her around to interfere with what he's doing, because it's clearly just against everything her mother wanted.
Oh yeah. So, alright, so he probably didn't know what was going on at Westview, and it was just Jimmy Woo or the FBI needed someone, so it was right, Monica, go and see this FBI guy and get out your hair type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go along with that. Yeah, that's fine.
But the big thing, another thing he did say in the first episode we did see Jimmy Woo in too, is that like the missing person, none of their family knew about them now. No one else did either. Like that is just like a huge red flag for me. Because a lot of these people, or almost everyone we've seen in Westview, except for Dottie and Agnes, who we now know Agnes is Agatha Harkness, everyone was identified. Not them. And has he made the point of saying that his missing person was male?
I don't know.
I think he did.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I thought it was identified as being a man.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. So I thought that.
I'm sure we talked about Dottie possibly being the missing person, but I'm sure he says it's a man. I'm sure he does. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore.
We talked about it being Ralph. I'm sure we talked about it being Ralph.
Yeah, remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't even know if we're gonna meet Ralph, or if Ralph is even real.
Yeah, I don't think we are. I think it's just a funny, funny, or just referring to the fact that she had a husband that we never saw. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just a funny thing to fit in with the sitcoms. Saying that though, she must have taken over someone's house. She's not from Westview. She pitched up next door to Wanda's house. So maybe Ralph does live in that house, and she's just got him in the basement somewhere, perhaps. I don't know.
Or maybe
Oh
Agatha
man.
turned him into Sparky.
Oh. Oh.
That would be morbid.
She got tired of him. She's like, all right, you can run around as a dog for a little bit, pee where you want, and then I'm gonna kill you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, now that would be devilish.
Oh wait. What if Ralph is Pietro? Pietro.
Excuse me. I just died as that happened. Oh, it means it's not meant to be. No,
Yeah.
oh, excuse me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one, Zach. Yeah, that could be. That would make sense.
I think it's a great theory, and to be honest, I'm also with you. I think that, for the time being, is what we have to go with until we find out when the scene with Monica and Pietro took place within last week. Because if that
Yeah.
took place in the same time, then that bunny's downstairs, and that theory doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see. Yeah, because all that was I took from last week's episode that Wanda literally went inside, went down in the basement pretty much straight away, and all that was happening at the same time that Monica was opening the doors to the basement. So then I don't know what's happened. Yeah, and then I'm assuming it probably fairly quickly. Wanda then comes back out the house. I think all those flashback scenes probably happens fairly quickly, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably in real time maybe, and then she comes out. So, yeah. I mean, what? Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, what's people? What are you thinking for next week's episode? What do you think's
Oh.
gonna happen?
Uh,
There has been a clip that I've seen on not a clip, a still, a picture, on Twitter, released by Marvel, I think, and it's basically Wanda, Billy and Tommy, and
Hex Vision.
Hex Vision, yeah, all just sort of posed, ready to start fighting or something like that. Very much like an Incredibles type pose.
Oh, yeah.
All ready to go. So yeah.
I think they cropped someone out of that picture.
Who? Monica.
Yeah, I do think it's Monica. If anything, and I would lose my mind if they did this, the only Pietro I think any chance that would pop up to fight with them would be Aaron Taylor Johnson's. So if you're going to do that and hit us with the, you didn't see that one coming, no one would have. Literally no one would have.
Yeah.
And you could do that. That would be perfect.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I think surely now Wanda's gonna buddy up with Monica.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because Monica's just been the only one who's actually been honest with her and actually is like trying to help.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
And
Darcy
you go-
and Jimmy, but she doesn't know that directly yet.
See, Darcy's on a
And you go
week
back to Monica saying, like, don't let Hayward turn you into the villain, which clearly he was.
Yeah, bastard. Yeah. Well, you've got Hex Vision on his way back to the house. You've got Darcy on the way back. We don't know what Pietro and Monica's up to, but they're there.
Yeah.
And then you probably, I'm assuming White Vision will just fly straight through the boundary of the hex. Yeah, will he get through no problem? Do we think?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he's getting in fine because he's vibranium.
Then they used that Stark Tech too, which had,
Wanda's
Wanda's
magic.
on it, so.
Yeah. Why? This thought has literally just popped in my head. Why do they need to send White Vision in? He's now got his vision. Why does he need to send White Vision in? Can he
Test
sort
run, maybe.
of oh, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a fair point. But
I think I might have a bigger theory that I don't know why I didn't bring this up even earlier when we were talking about it. Wanda created Vision, right? The one in the Hex. What's one huge thing that is not in White Vision and does not technically exist in the MCU anymore? The Infinity Stone.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I w
I think he wants that.
yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. There you go. Do you
Oh,
think that's back?
yes, I think it is.
Yeah, I definitely, because Wanda's powers were amplified by the Mind Stone. I think if there was any stone she could recreate, why
But
not the Mind Stone?
but here's the thing. I think it's going to be back in the same way that if Vision and Billy and Tommy survive, the Mind Stone will obviously continue to survive. But if they're an illusion, that also has to be an illusion.
Yeah, good point.
I'm still. I don't want this to happen, but I think when the hex, I think I think the hex will come down next episode, and I think we'll see Tommy and Billy and Hex Vision go. I think
Yeah.
that's what will happen. There'll be a big battle scene. I would expect, and of course, he's sending White Vision in. White Vision's going to get in, and there's going to be a big fight. Um, I can definitely see that happening. But yeah, that's what just made me think. Why they're sending White Vision in? But yeah, test run to get the Mind Stone. Yeah, they make sense to me. But it just brings me back to, I think I said at the time of the podcast, when they sent the missile in to get, or well, they sent the drone in, and Monica didn't realise it had a missile on at the time, and Hayward said, right, fire the missile. And at the time, I remember saying, is Hayward like thick as shit? Why would you just send a missile to Wanda? It's obvious it's not going to hurt her. And I probably didn't give him as much justice, because he probably knew that it wouldn't hurt her, but he might somehow be able to use that power, which is what he did. He got the missile back, and he used the power, or the Wanda's power from the missile to reboot Vision. So I think he's very calculated.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he had anything. I don't think he had any of this planned out, but he's rolled with things as things have come along, and I think Wanda turning up at headquarters, at Sword headquarters, he's probably thought straight away. He's thought, I can use her here, and he started manipulating her there. And then as things have progressed, he's just rolled with it, and he's been very clever at getting what he wanted. Bastard.
I really hope it stops next episode, though. I hope getting Vision online is the last thing that he wants. I hope it goes terribly wrong for him. That's why I really hope it's Ultron. If Ultron just wakes up, he's just like, "Who are you? I don't need you," and just rips through them all. Like, I'd be okay with that.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the White Vision's reaction is next week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do we want to see Hayward continuing beyond this, or are we happy for him to meet his end next week?
I would love to see him end.
Yeah, I could take it both ways, honestly. Like, I feel like I don't think this character's gonna last too long. I'll say that. Because I think there's gonna be someone else in charge of Sword. I really don't think it's gonna continue to be him. But okay, and then here I have like this thought popping in my head right now. If it is him, and they do keep him in charge of Sword, they could go the Dark Avengers route. So
I think it's probably the fact that Hayward's not a character in the comics, is he?
no.
No, so I think the idea probably is that he's not going to last that long. But I don't know. I mean, I thought he was very much just going to be a bit of a bit character at the start.
Same here.
Didn't think he was going to be so integral to the storyline as what he has been, actually. Which in a good way, because he's just you can't really hate Agatha. Well, at least I can't. I just find it brilliant.
Same here.
Whereas I'm happy to hate Hayward. So I think we needed that figure.
Do you have anything else you wanted to add, Zach?
No, everything. Literally everything you brought up was what I had written down.
Chris, you good too?
Yeah. Just looking at my notes. Well, there's just one thing actually, and I don't know if you guys have picked up on it. In the sort of CCT footage we saw of Wanda supposedly taking Vision's body, the clip that Hayward had shown a few episodes back. I thought she was in her Avengers outfit, and she was when she came out the Hex.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I don't know if this was just something that was cleverly done or just something maybe I didn't pick up on, but actually when she goes into the Sword headquarters, she's not in a leather thing. She's just in a cardigan, and I just wondered, is that something I've picked up on, or is that footage that Hayward obviously meddled with? Has he purposely sort of made her look like an Avenger or Avenger gone bad, perhaps? I don't know. Again, that was just something I picked up on, and might be nothing. I should really probably have a look back at that episode where they showed that footage and see what she was actually wearing in that. I don't know.
I kind of thought it as that, similarly to how everyone else's there's wardrobes changing, so was hers. Like, I think she probably, like, because she's obviously the most aware out of everyone, even though she, again, didn't really realize how it did start. Obviously, now that she does. I don't know, I think she was probably one of the most conscious people there to actually, like, change her wardrobe beyond the reality. So I think she might have just done that and, like, or even just quickly warped reality to have, like, her battle suit pretty much ready to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, but
Kind of like how Thor can change his clothes.
Yeah, or how, like, his cape appears whenever he grabs Mjolnir sometimes. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I'll never get Asgardian magic. Maybe in Thor 4.
Right.
All right, but I guess that will bring us to the end of this week's podcast. Again, another long one, and expect a longer next week because it's the finale.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next week. A little update for the clips. I'll be uploading them on a new channel because YouTube does not recommend the videos if they are not all of the same kind. So the clips will now be on a different channel that is yet to be made. So once it is made, I will have that up and start posting those videos as soon as I can. But until then, just keep watching us here. Keep tuning in on Spotify or SoundCloud if you can. And we'll see you later.
Have a good one, guys.